Hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We're back with another practice session, and I hope that people are finding more things to do during the week and just keeping sane in all of this. So I wanted to continue our practices today, and probably we'll pick up the pace just a little bit, just because going on pretty strong. This week was a little bit more difficult than usual. For some reason, I don't know. Let me know if you guys are feeling the same, but I'm somehow unable to go to sleep properly. So every day I'm just kind of like half sleeping and not being productive, and so it's a little bit more difficult than in the previous weeks. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But please stay safe, stay home, don't do anything crazy. Um, so a couple of questions I wanted to answer before we start practicing. Um, One pretty big question that I got last week was, how do I choreograph? And I really want to state that I am absolutely not an expert. I'm not a master in choreography at all. A lot of the projects and videos that you guys see online are really just me experimenting, and kind of just seeing what I'm capable of. They're not, I mean, yes, I did choreograph them and I did put a lot of effort into it, but I'm not an expert at all. I still have a lot to learn. And but how I even approach that is, first I will listen to the song or Jati way too many times, make sure that it's really ingrained in my head, and something that, like, if you woke me up in the middle of the night, I'll be able to say it or recite it or sing it perfectly for you. And while that's happening in conjunction, I will like to kind of visualize it. Whenever I listen to a song or anything like that, I always visualize it. I don't exactly just listen to it. I'll kind of imagine what it would be like if I were to perform it. And that's kind of been my habit since the beginning. I've always kind of done that. And so just visualizing it, and then kind of once it's really like in my head, I'll start kind of putting things together. Like, okay, I was imagining this step at this point in time, so let me see if I can actually execute it. And then that's where the practice comes in, and that's when I start putting things together. And then what I imagined doesn't necessarily look good, so then I go in and like change it up. So that's kind of the process. I think that's the process for many of us. I don't think that, it's anything rocket science. It's nothing special, but definitely taking it step by step and not rushing into anything and making sure that it's absolutely perfect. And one thing that I do a lot more often now is actually record the entire process. And I'll film myself from the beginning execution to, even if it's like 2 seconds before performance, I will literally stop production and say, no, if I don't like it, I don't like it. I'm not going to continue with this. Luckily, that's never really happened yet, but I really want to make sure it's like exactly how I envisioned it before it ever gets to production. And how do I practice? That's kind of a complicated question because my practice really depends on a lot of different factors. One, it's external pressure to be like, hello, why are you not practicing? Stop being lazy. That's one reason why I start practicing. But two, I practice because I always want to, the end goal really is to make sure I was better than I was yesterday. There's no, I don't specifically say I need to nail this by the end of today. It's mostly like, okay, let me just make sure that like I'm not in the same place as I was yesterday, and really just focusing more on progress rather than perfection, I think is more important when it comes to practice. So just making sure that, maybe you couldn't touch your toes yesterday when you were doing like a stretch. But today you're able to go like 1 centimeter more. That's progress, and I think you kind of succeeded in that day's practice, and just keep kind of moving forward from that. Hi everybody, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up and highs, so on Instagram, so hi. And then finally, how do you add grace to your dance? Adding grace to dance is also another complicated question because everybody approaches this differently, but it really comes. That was that was interesting. I didn't think I could do that. So it's really just about practice and what you like best, and it also comes with a lot of technical skills as well. So in my head, or in how I observe other dancers, I kind of see grace as keeping your movements really tight. And I know that sounds really counterintuitive, but an example would be if we take this step. Generally, we see this step as 1, 2. But to make it graceful, we want to keep the shoulders really tight and the elbows in place. So we don't just go 1, 2. That's not keeping it tight, and it looks completely uncontrollable. So instead, 1, 2. And it's if you notice, your arms are not going up and down like this. Your body is still really, really tight. And when you sit, you're bending your knees and keeping them bent in order to keep that movement really tight. And I think that's where grace comes from, but it requires a lot of practice. And it requires a lot of control on your body. So whenever you're practicing and you want to include more grace in your movements, start by keeping your body really, really tight and keeping your actions very controlled. And that way you'll start noticing differences when you actually see yourself performing. But yeah, with that being said, those were pretty loaded questions. Maybe I'll do like an actual full video for one of these topics one of these days, and that way we can get into more detail if you guys are interested. So just let me know. Okay, so let's start with our practice. And again, disclaimers. Please follow the styles that you've been taught. You can feel free to follow me, but just definitely do the style that you've been taught. And then again, I'm still working on my sitting and my posture, so please, 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 please sit and keep your R&D perfect as much as possible. And today we'll be kind of going through some of the steps a little bit more quickly since we have reviewed them in the past few weeks, and we'll kind of go on to a couple of new things, or new meaning like things we haven't reviewed yet. So let me just adjust this here. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Okay, let's start with up. Namaskaram, please. We'll go up, forward, and side. Forward, side, and keep our leg flexed. So flexed meaning the bottom of your foot is pointing upwards. So the bottom of your foot is pointing forwards, and your toes are pointing upwards. You'll get a better stretch from that. 4, other leg, 2, 4, 8, 11, 14. All right, and now just focus on the side and keep it diagonally back. So not sideways, since we just did that. We'll go diagonally back, and it'll work more of your hip. Oh, oops. 1, go back. 2, 3, 4. Make sure you're keeping your back straight in all of this, just so that you can control for when you're actually doing steps. If you lean forward, you're not really going to get a stretch. Like right now, I don't feel anything here, but keeping my back straight, I feel a nice stretch right here. Okay. And then Let's do some, hold your knee. 1, 2, 7, 10. Other leg, 1. Keep your leg flexed, or sorry, your foot flexed, because it'll help with stretch and balance. All right, back. 12, 13, 14. All right, other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, shake it out. Arms up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stretch all the way up with your on your toes. 8, 9, 10, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and up. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 3 Surya Namaskaras. 1, 2, 3, go, and up. 2, 3, 4, down. 2, 3, 4. Right leg back. And left leg back. Down. 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Push up. And downward dog. Line forward. Right leg in. Left leg in. And up. 2, 3, 4. 7, 8. All right, let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, and go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Right, left leg back. Right leg back. Plank. Down. 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3. Push up. 1. Left, right leg forward. Left leg forward. And up. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Down. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2. Up. 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Roll your shoulders. Make sure you're keeping your neck stable. Don't try to do anything with your neck. Stretch the arm. 2, 3, 4. Again. Side. 2, 4. Arms back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and other way. 4, 5, 6, 7, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and big ones. 1, 2, 3. Again, keep your palms outwards for a better stretch. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. All right, our favorite stretches. Going all the way down. Let me just make sure. Hi guys. All right. All right. We're gonna do, so we're gonna keep our feet a little over shoulder length apart, and we're gonna go slowly into an inner thigh stretch. So, and up. Keep your hands on your waist. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Keep your knee and your top of your toes in one line. Make sure they don't go over each other. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hands in front. Keep your knees closer, or legs closer together. And we're gonna go all the way down. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, get up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. All right. 1. We'll do some hip flexors. 1, 2, and remember these are modified ones, so every time you sit down, you're going to get into an auto-running position. 1, 2, 3, go. Up, side, and down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Pick up the pace. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep it more fluid this time instead of robotic. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lift the knee all the way up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Pick up the pace. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, and stop. Cool. All right, let's get started with some steps. So we will start with a variation of the thumb step. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First speed, second speed, and third speed. Ready? Put their hands out. We're not gonna do any movements with them. Just keep your arms out. 1, 2, 3, start. Tate, te, ta, ta, te, he, da, ta, 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 te, hit the ta, te, he, da, ta, te, ta, ta, te, he, da, ta, 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 te, hit the ta, te, he, da, ta, te, ta, ta, te, he, da, ta, 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 te, hit the ta, te, he, da, ta, te, ta, ta. Keep your elbows back and shoulders back. They hit the thumb. These two should be in one line. He da da, 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 they hit the da, they hit second speed, da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit da, da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit third speed, da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit da, they hit the da, hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit da, da, they hit the da, they hit da, da, they hit the da, they hit second speed, da, they hit the da, they hit da, da, they hit the da, they hit da, da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit first speed, da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da. Make sure you're still sitting. Da, they hit the da, they hit da, 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 they hit the da, they hit da, da. Nice. So I know these are a little bit unconventional, but I think that is the beauty of doing steps and doing classical dance in general. We can kind of create our own movements so long as we're following what's been, written out for us. And it's always important to kind of continue changing it up once in a while, just because how else do we move forward, right? So think of what you've been taught. Think of how you can kind of modify. Use the same step, but maybe do different hands. Maybe do this step with, a different eye movement or something. Just kind of keep imagining what it is within the realm, how you imagining what you can change within the realm of actually doing a classical dance. So now we're gonna do they, but we're gonna use these hands. They, lowering your elbow. This is a common mistake when this step is happening. You want to make sure your elbow is still in line with your wrist and shoulder. So let's go. And this is Hamsa Paksha hand gesture. Mudra. 1, 2, 3, start. They, they, look, go over the shoulder. They, now, if you're feeling fancy, bend as the hand goes. They. Use your waist and don't bend forward. Second speed. Keep this mudra really tight. And third speed. Second speed. they. So alternatively, you can do they. You can go they. There's so many different variations you can do with your hands, so long as you're keeping the steps the same and anything like that. All right, let's shake your feet out. Shake your feet out. Your hands. Stretch the arms. Stretch the arms. Whew. My depth perception has been really off, and I keep hitting the wall, but that's okay. That's okay. It's a cloudy Saturday morning, so I get a pass. All right, stretch down. Stretch down. And stretch up. And over. Okay. Now we'll go for dom, dom, da, da. Dom, dom, da, di. Dom, dom, da, da. Dom, dom, da, di. This is more of a jumpy step, but when you jump with your feet, so the feet go dom, dom, da, da. Dom, dom, da, di. When you jump, you don't want to jump like this. You want to keep I know my students do that, so I'm watching you somehow, so don't do this. It's a little bit more difficult for me, so because I don't have all my full strength in this leg yet, but if you were to sit, it should look like this, and rest your leg kind of on your knee-ish, okay? And then when your hands go, dom, dom, da, you want to make sure you stretch the hand all the way up and that your wrist and this wrist end up meeting. Don't bend anything other than this hand right here. Some people want to do this and kind of take shortcuts. Don't take shortcuts. Dom, dom, da, ta. It should be completely stretched, and make sure this elbow is not, or the shoulder is not going like this. It should be relaxed. There's a lot of things to keep in mind in this step, so I'll try to remind you as we keep going through it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, ti. Do, do. Sit down, da, da, and get your balance. This part right here, get your balance. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Stretch the hand all the way up. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do. Second speed. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Stretch your hand. Do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do. Third speed. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, da, da. Do, da, di. Do, da, da. Do, da, di. Do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Second speed. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Make sure you're still sitting. Da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Di. Do, do, da, da. First speed. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. Do, do, da, da. Do, do, da, di. I don't know about you guys, but my legs feel like jello. So, clearly I need more practice on that step. So, shake your feet out. Stretch up. And stretch down. You should feel kind of like a pull in your back. Footwork step. We'll do, hi everyone. We'll do more of a, we'll do takita steps. So how that goes is, we'll do a different variation of a takita. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So foot stamp, on the toe, and heel. Stamp, toe, heel. Stamp, toe, heel. Stamp, toe, heel. Stamp, toe. Other side. Stamp, toe, heel. Stamp, toe, heel. Stamp, toe, heel. You guys get the idea. Hands, we will do these hands. Keep it simple. Let's focus more on our steps. All right, perfect. Go. 1, 2, 3. By the way, Instagram will flip the video, so it looks like I'm starting with my left side. Always start with your right side and do the opposite. YouTube, I think, is correct, but Instagram will flip it, so just keep that in mind. Always start with your right side. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Start. Ta, ki, da. Ta, ki, da. Ta, ki, da. Ta, ki, da. Switch. Ta, ki, da. Ta, ki, da. Ta, ki. Notice the eye movement. Down, up. Ta, ki, da. Down, up. Ta, ki, da. Ki, da, da. Ki, da. Oops, I went one extra. That's okay. Ta, switch. Ta, ki, da. Ki, da. Ta, ki, da. Ki, da, da. Ki, da. Ki, da, da. Ki, da. Ki, da, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Keep your eye look very sharp. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da, da. Da. Second speed. Ta, ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ta, ki, da. 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 Da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Da. And third speed. Ta, ki, da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Ki, da. 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 Ki, da. Ki, da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Da. Ki, da. Ki. And second speed. Da. Ki, da. Ki. Ki, da. Keep your eye movements sharp. And sit down. Da. Da. Ki. Ki, da. 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 First speed. Da. Ki, da. Ki, da. If your legs are not feeling like jello, you didn't do it right. Ki, da. 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 So, is to test our resilience, our stamina, our strength, making sure that what we can do in the fast speed going up, we can also come back down and maintain that same Aramandi. And you'll notice Aramandi and posture, and you'll notice it becomes harder to maintain that Aramandi or that posture from third speed back down. So making sure that you can do all 3 speeds of eye movements. And I know I got a question about that last week. So how to perfect eye movement is very simple, but takes a lot of work to actually get. So when we're dancing around, there's a lot of movement. So naturally our eyes want to go all over the place. So when you practice and doing steps like this and drills like this, you want to pinpoint exactly where you're going to look. So for example, in the Sakita step, we go down and we look up. So maintaining that sharp point, all it means is you look at a point, you fix a point. So right before you do the step, right? Right before you do the step, fix a point on either corners of the room and stare. Like that's the only place you're gonna look. And don't waver from the light switch. Even when there's something else on the corner and you want to go up and down and see the entire light switch, don't look at the exact like nail, right? You want to look at that point only and not waver your arm movement from anywhere. We want to do that because that's kind of the nature of the movement, right? So our eyes want to go all over the place. But instead, when you look down, don't look down all the way here. You want to look kind of more of like a false look. So it's more of like somewhere right here. So you're, from the audience perspective, you're looking down, but you can still see your eyes. If you were to go da, ki, da, and look all the way in, your face is completely covered, and like you have this weird side profile with double chin look. So instead, da, look down here, you don't have a double chin, yay, and you can still see your eyes kind of half closed. So this is just more of like a trick to looking, but you want to look more attractive, you want to look more somewhere here, right? Your hand is here, but if you look down this way versus this way, right? It's more like you have this like feeling versus like here, it's more like subtle, right? And then when you look, sharp look, and I'm not wavering, I'm only looking at that point. Anything else going on here, it does not matter. I'm still looking right there. So practice that, keep that in mind, and practice your eye movements like that. And when you practice eye movements with the steps itself and not just putting it in an item, it will become more natural. It'll become more natural to you. So even like if your teacher was to say, I want you to do like a step and then go into a tadiyanatom or something like that, you already know naturally you're just gonna do the eye movement along with it because that's how you've been drilling and that's how you've been practicing. So I hope that helps with eye movements. Let me know if that was not clear and I can go into more detail with that. Okay, so moving on to the next step. Let's go for the jump. This is a variation of the step we did last week with the thumb, dehi, the thumb. Instead, we're gonna go the thumb, dehi, the thumb. Feet go the thumb, dehi, the thumb, the thumb, dehi, the. Okay, 1, 2, 3, start. The thumb, dehi, the thumb, they hit the thumb, they hit the they hit the thumb, they hit the thumb, they lift the foot when you go up, they hit the thumb, and bend to the side, they make sure you're sitting, they hit they the thumb, they hit the thumb, keep your knees out, second speed. They hit the thumb, they hit the thumb, they hit the thumb. Eye movements again. Thumb, they the thumb, they hit 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 the thumb. Hit they hit the thumb. Hit they hit the third speed. They hit the thumb. Hit the thumb. They the thumb. Elbows up. They hit the thumb. Hit the thumb. They hit the da, 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 da. Second speed, da, 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 da. Back straight and bend to the side, not forward. First speed, da, 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 da. Dum ding he da da ding ding da da ding he da 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 ding da he da da. All right, stretch the hands out. Stretch the hands out. And stretch it out again. And let's do a few lunges to the side. Your knees sort of out, shoulder length apart. Bend to the side. And pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 1. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, nice. Okay, now we'll go on to Kartanaka steps. And what those are, hi Aparna. One of the steps goes, hands go, te, ta, ki, ta, 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 te, ta, to. A lot of people, a lot of different styles also do te, ta, ki, ta, 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 te, ta, to. Completely fine. Whatever style fits you, you should do that. Okay? Let's go for it. And remember, when the step goes, there's no shortcuts in this step at all. So when you go A, the foot should go all the way up towards your knee. Don't do this all the way up and then put it down. It gives this fuller effect. So make sure you are lifting your foot all the way, putting it down, and jumping on the toes. Same thing, left side. A, ta, ki, da, da, good. Ta, ti, hit, the, to. Okay? Hands again go. Te, da, ki, da, da, and I like to bend to the sides when I do that. So I'm not completely straight. I'm bending along with my hand. Okay? Elbows and shoulders have to be in line. Ready? Ooh, okay. 1, 2, 3, start. Te, ta, ki, da, da, ga, te, hit, the, to. Ooh, I'm going on a frame. Ki, da, da, ga, da, te, hit, the, to. Te, ta, ki, da, da, ga, da, te, hit, the, to. Ta, da, da, ga, te. Keep the shoulders and elbows in one line. Te, ta, da, da, ga. Lift the hand, lift the foot. To, ta, ta, ki, da, da, ga, te, to. Te, ta, da, ga, te, da, to. Ta, ki, da, ga, te, da. Second speed. Te, ta, ki, da, ga, te, da, to. Ta, ta, da, da, te, da, to. Ta, ki, da, ga, te, hit, da, to. Da, da, to. Te, ta, ki, da, ga, hit, da, to. Ta, ki, da, ga. Eye movements. Go down with your hand and come back up to the center. To, ta, da, ga. Second speed. Or third speed. Te, da, to. Ta, 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 te, ta, to. Te, ta, 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 tom. Second speed. Te, ta, te, tom. Don't let the elbow fall. So don't let the elbow go like this. Keep the elbows out. Tom, ta, keep, ta. First speed. Te, ta, keep, ta, ta, te, ta, tom. All right, nice. So one request that I got last week was to review Asamnita Hastas, all Hastas in general. But today we'll review Asamnita Hastas, and typically this is done with a slokam. It's said in a slokam way, but I know some people are not familiar with that yet, so we'll just do it in a bucket list sort of way. So hopefully, so let's review that for a little bit, get our breath back. Okay, so Asamnita Hastas, just as a reminder, are single hand gestures. So you can do them with one hand, or you can do it with both. But Asamnita Hastas mean single hand gestures. Samhita Hastas, on the other hand, require the use of both your hands to be done. Anjali Kapoda. So today we'll focus, keep your elbows up while doing this. Okay, 1, 2, sorry, I'm like sweating a lot. 1, 2, 3, start. Asamnita Hastas. Pataka, Tripataka, Ardhapataka, Kartari Mukha, Mayura, Ardhachandra, Arala, Sukhatundakaha, Mushti, Shikhara, Kapita, Kataka Mukha, Suchi, Chandrakala, Padmakosa, Sarpasisha, Mrigasisha, Simhamukha, Kangula, Alapadma, Chatura, Bhramara, Hamsasya, Hamsapakshaha, Samdamso, Mukula, Tamrachuda, Trishula. That when saying these words, they're not common words for us, right? So we tend to kind of just gibberish through them. We just sort of like blah, blah, blah. But enunciate each and every syllable when practicing them. And also make sure you're pronouncing the letter correctly. So it's not kangula. It's actually kangula. It's a different la. When you say kataka mukha, it's not kataka mukha. So don't don't enunciate the wrong syllable. You want to enunciate the correct syllable. Kataka mukha, and it's a more of a ka that comes from the back of your throat, not kataka mukha, because that's probably a completely different word, and honestly maybe it's like a bad word to say, so don't do that. Okay, kataka mukha. So kind of pay attention to what syllables are being enunciated and what syllables are being properly, or what letters you should be. Tripataka, Ardhapataka, Kartari Mukha, Mayura, Ardhachandra, Arala, Sukhatundakaha, Mushti, Shikhara, Kapita, Katakamukha, Katakamukha, Suchi, Chandrakala, Padmakosa, Sarpasisha, Mrugasisha, Simhamukha, Kangula, Alapadma, Chatura, Bhramara, Hamsasya, Hamsapakshaha, Samdamso, Mukula, Tamrachuda, Trishula. Okay? Awesome. Keep practicing that. Eventually, you'll get to memorizing it. And if you're feeling like so like I mentioned, there's a slokam that you're supposed to do this with. It's not just a bucket list. So go Google it. It's everywhere. You'll see the slokam everywhere and actually done properly. I don't want to scare you guys right now with it. So we'll eventually practice that as well. But first, learn all of what each Hasta Mudra is, and then do it with the slokam, and then memorize the slokam, and it'll come naturally to you. Awesome. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to also review with regards to grace is something that we kind of saw in the Takita step. So when transitioning between hand movements, you might have noticed that I went like this in between the switching of the sides. So instead of just going takita, 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 I went more with this kind of out and in, out and in. So takita, 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 takita. It just gives the step more finesse. It's more, again, adds to that grace element that we were talking about earlier. So next time when you try to transition between steps, if it's relevant, for example, in this step, keep your arms out. Start from the diagonal with an Alapadma. Start from the diagonal out, bring it to this diagonal, and then get into this pose. And remember, this hand and this wrist and this wrist have to be in one line. This should be stretched out enough to be able to meet the wrist at the other side. So again, start from this diagonal to that diagonal and come in to the pose. Takita, 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 takita. And then don't use your wrist too much. So what that means is we tend to want to do this. This is more filmy, kind of, more of this wrist action. But keeping this tight, so when, for example, when we do this movement, there's no need to accentuate it by giving this like flick, over flick. Just keeping it tight and keeping the wrist really tight will give you more of a finesse look. This is cool too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just more, there's more room for error, especially if you're not doing it correctly. So instead, pretending there's like a line right here, and you're just trying to pull the line out to in, and don't bring your elbows in again. Keep the elbows out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just another drill for you to try, keeping it more tight. Okay, I think Instagram's gonna kick me out in like 30 seconds. So we'll just end this here. And we'll do our stretches. Keep the feet down and up. And maybe do some high knees. Get a cool down going. We didn't do much of a cool down exercise. And out, out, do some of these, maybe some of this, and do a Surya Namaskaram just for kicks. Down, stretch out, down, up. And up. And your nose bottom. All right, cool. So thanks everyone for joining in today. I know we spent a lot of time today on different methods on how to execute a step. So definitely try using some of those in your practices going forward. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Bye.